Hi everybody. So today I'm going to start off my video with a tour of my new apartment, and then I'm going to get into my blog post. So I have to turn my camera around so you can see what's going on. So this is the master bathroom. I'm starting in the bathroom because I just took a shower. So this is our bedroom. This is our office where I film my videos. The desk is sort of messy. We're waiting on our shoe rack, but pretty soon my shoes will be all nicely lined up. Right now they're kind of messy. Here's the hallway. Here's the guest bathroom. Here's the living room, dining room area. And there's the kitchen. And then here's the entry hallway. So, as you can see, our new apartment is a lot smaller than the one at Clock Tower. So we had to get rid of a lot of things when we moved into our apartment. We threw out a lot of stuff, and we had to bring we bought a whole box of stuff to Savers the other day. Saturday. So there is that. So in today's blog post, it's a little bit of a telling of the second part of the way that Glee handled or did not handle too well the discussion of serious issues in their episodes. I've also been watching a lot of videos about Friends lately. I'm going to talk about how they handled serious issues first, because some of it ties into Glee, and I'm going to be mentioning how Glee did a better job of handling a certain serious issue than Friends did. So the first serious issue that I wanted to talk about, actually, let's start about it right off the bat. Transgender issues. So in Glee, there are two transgender characters. Unique, who starts off as a newbie in season 3 and then is there for the rest of the seasons. And then at the beginning of season 6, which I haven't watched, I just found out about this through doing my research for this video. Coach Beast, the football coach, comes out as transgender. And they discussed how Glee's casting could have been a little bit more inclusive about opening the roles up to transgendered actors, because Coach Beast was played by a cisgendered woman, Dot Marie Jones, who, if you guys do not remember, she also played the gym teacher on Lizzie McGuire. If you guys remember the episode where Lizzie was trying out for the rhythm gymnastics team, she was the gym teacher in that episode. So I think it's really cool that she was also in Glee. But anyway, so yes, it would have been better if Glee had opened their roles more to transgendered people, because I mean, Kurt and Blaine, well, actually, they did really good portrayals of a gay couple, but I I'm pretty sure both of them are straight in real life. I don't remember. But anyway, talking about transgender issues and relating it to Friends, they handled transgendered issues very poorly. And this is focused around the character of Chandler's dad, who is a drag show performer in Las Vegas. So even the co-director of Friends, Marta Kaufman, admitted that they handled this very badly when they were writing the show, and that it could have been handled much better. I didn't watch the Friends reunion special that was on a couple of years ago. And I wish I had, because I don't know if this situation was brought up in the special or how it might have been handled today. But if there was a reunion special of Friends, I would have really loved to see, maybe Monica and Chandler's kids, who are adopted at the end of the series and are babies, that maybe they grow up to be teenagers, and when they turn 18 or 21, they go to Las Vegas to celebrate their birthdays, and they see their grandfather's drag show, assuming the grandfather will still be alive. He might be retired from the drag show by then. Who knows? But even if the grandfather is not doing the drag show anymore, maybe they could see a different drag performer who took over and replaced the grandfather after he retired, and maybe they could have a discussion with their grandfather about how he had a hard time with coming out as transgender. So maybe Chandler's relationship with his dad could be better strengthened if the kids are more accepting of their grandfather, and then therefore inspire their father to be more accepting of their grandfather and how he was transgender. I don't know if anybody on Friends is going to see this video, but maybe if they do, and if Matthew Perry comments on that, he was the one who played Chandler. I would love to hear from him if Friends was to be rebooted, or there was a spin-off series about Chandler and his dad, or his kids finding out about their transgender grandfather. Let me know, how you think that would work today. I don't know if there's ever going to be a new spin-off of Friends made that's similar to How I Met Your Father, but that's an idea for the writers. And if not, I'm going to use it for fan fiction. So for Glee, the other thing I wanted to talk about was bullying. Bullying is featured all throughout the series, and in a lot of ways, it's handled very poorly, because maybe students who witness the bullying maybe there are students who witness the bullying who are bystanders. They may have not been in those specific scenes, but for example, Sue Sylvester is a huge bully to Will Schuester and to all the Glee Club kids, and nobody even mentions anything to Principal Figgins about it. So I feel that was handled very poorly. If people remember the episode where Will was singing La Cucaracha in Spanish class, and Santana reported him for doing not cultural appropriate things with Spanish, with the way the song was performed. why couldn't she have also done that or why couldn't have somebody else done that in the Glee Club and stood up for their friends or their teacher when they saw that Sue was bullying them? Like, I understand it's a TV show, but I mean, Sue should have been fired for the way she was saying rude things to Will and rude things to her students. The next issue was the treatment of Britney Spears' breakdown. I loved the first Britney Spears episode of Glee. I thought they did a great job paying homage to her music. A lot of my favorite songs from the 90s and early 2000s were featured in that episode. I loved it. When they did the Britney 2.0 episode, however, when Britney gets taken from the getting kicked off the Cheerios and like is being interviewed by like the college, the high school news station about how she was kicked off the Cheerios and how she freaks out. I just thought that episode was in very poor taste to what Britney Spears was going through at the time, and it was just not cool and very unfair. Back to the issue about bullying, like, do people remember the episode of Glee where there was a school shooting, and at the end of the episode, it is revealed that Becky Jackson, who is the cheerleader with Down syndrome, is the one that had the gun, and she fired the gun accidentally, and she admits to Sue that she carried the gun because she didn't feel safe. But then they just end the episode and don't say anything else about it. Like, I would have loved to know more about why Becky didn't feel safe. Did she observe other people being bullied and not like what she saw but was afraid to report it? Was she bullied herself by the other football players who were bullying the rest of the Glee Club? Like, what would cause her to feel unsafe and unsafe enough to bring a gun to school? I wish that whole episode had been handled a lot better than it was, and that maybe Becky's story could have been handled a lot better than it was. The next thing is Sandy Ryerson. He was the Glee Club teacher before Mr. Schuster even started teaching, and he was fired because of touching a student inappropriately. Now, that's where his career should have ended. But no, he was also in Will's a cappella group, and then he sold drugs off campus to students, which should have been reported to the principal, but wasn't. And then Sue Sylvester hires him in an art administrative position. No, none of that stuff should have happened. The students that were buying the drugs from him should have reported him to Principal Figgins, and he should have not been allowed to run he should have not even been able to be considered by Sue for a position as an arts administrator if he was fired for touching a student inappropriately. Like, no. I hated that. No. Homophobia. This is another thing that ties into Friends, which is why I wanted to kind of combine Glee with Friends and talking about series issues. How homophobia was talked about, I would say it was handled very well in Glee because it was talked about how there were gay students in the Glee Club and they were treated badly, but they stood up for themselves and everything like that. And then with Finn's character arc and how he starts off as a bullying Kurt, but then matures and stands up for him, and then later becomes his stepbrother. I just loved that character development for Finn. Now, with Friends, let's get into a character that I hated. His name is Ross Geller. I love David Schwimmer. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he did excellent playing Ross. Don't get me wrong. But let me just say, I did not like Ross's character. He was the worst character on the whole entire show. One example of this is homophobia, which is what I'm going to talk about. How this episode was handled on Friends was very poor. Like, the whole thing where he made the big deal about hiring the male nanny for Emma, that was not cool. He should have been a lot more professional about that. And he should have let his wife, Rachel, take care of the interview instead of basically insulting the guy that they were interviewing about being a nanny. And in season 3, when his son Ben has a Barbie doll, he gets all like up in arms about the gender stereotype about boys not playing with Barbies, and he makes a big deal about it, like, just let your kid play with a Barbie doll, for crying out loud. Like, that was super, super irritating. And, like, the whole we were on a break thing, I mentioned this in a Facebook status that I posted on Facebook a couple of days ago, but let me just reiterate, that whole will they or won't they thing with Rachel's relationship with Ross was just annoying. It really bothered me. Rachel and Ross, I felt, were a very poor matchup. They were not a good fit for each other. Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer were fantastic in their roles as Rachel and Ross, but they were a toxic couple. Oh my god, I hated them. Chandler and Monica, on the other hand, I loved them, and I loved the twist at the end of the wedding episode when they all go to England for Ross's wedding and they end up together. I thought they were so cute. My other favorite moment with them was when they got engaged and they proposed. It was so cute. But, like, back to Ross. Like, I hated how in the finale, how Rachel got off the plane and went back to Ross. Like, no, that should have not happened. If Friends were to air today, I don't think they would have been able to get away with that kind of plot line, because Ross was just not a good fit for Rachel. Maybe if she had decided to stay in New York, she could have made it work somehow, but I didn't want her to stay with Ross. I wanted her to go to Paris and live her dream, and I just felt that she settled too much for Ross. I understand that she had a kid with him, but if Rachel did not feel comfortable with having Ross take care of their daughter because of the issues that they had with getting along, I'm sure that Monica and Chandler would have been able to help. Or I just watched another video on YouTube about how Ross was such a bad character on Friends. And in this video, the person who made the video said that, like, when Rachel goes away to Paris, she left Emma with her mom. And, like, that would have been perfect. I mean, I don't know if that would have been, like, a long-term thing, or if Rachel would have, like, come back to get Emma eventually. But, like, I think she should have just taken Emma with her, and they could have started a whole life all by themselves. And who knows? Rachel could have met a nice French guy who was, who would have treated her much better than Ross. Maybe she could have met a relative of Gunther. Gunther was a supporting character on Friends who was the barista in Central Perk who had a crush on Rachel throughout the whole entire show. And I really think that when Rachel was not dating Ross, she should have ended up with Gunther, because, like, basically, Gunther's whole storyline was that he had an unrequited crush on Rachel, and that he was kind of like Charlie Brown, and Rachel was kind of like the little red-haired girl, because in Charlie Brown, as people know, Charlie Brown is afraid to confess his feelings to the little redhead girl. Gunther was very, very, very similar to Charlie Brown, from what I observed from the character who is played by James Markle Tyler, who sadly died from cancer. So nothing could have really been developed in a spin-off with Gunther. There could have not been any more development of his character, so we could have learned more about his backstory, because there was a whole video on Miss Mojo about Gunther and, like, different things about him that were revealed throughout the show, like how he was a actor on All My Children, or how he was roommates with Phoebe's co-worker Jasmine. Like, there were so many storylines that were not explored with Gunther throughout the show of Friends that I would have loved to see. But sadly, or maybe like a prequel series about Gunther and how he got the job at Central Park could have been made. But unfortunately, that can't be made now, and I'm very sad. And I wish they had done a memorial episode, sort of like when Corey Monteith died in Glee, to honor Gunther. And maybe they could have talked about all of the mysterious issues about his character development that were hinted at in Friends in the memorial episode, but they never really did a memorial episode about either, which I think was a really missed opportunity for the producers of Friends. And I'm not sure if James Michael Tyler was like mentioned at all in the reunion special, because I don't have HBO Max, so I was unfortunately unable to watch it. And I don't know if there's any way to find it on DVD or anything. If anybody knows about that, please let me know, because I would love to watch that special, because I didn't get the chance to watch it. So anyway, thank you for tuning into today's video. I will be back later with more discussions about Friends, and on Thursday I will be reviewing movies and talking about future plans for being involved in theater, since we had a tour at a local theater that's near us in Portland over the weekend, and it went very well. And I wanted to talk about an upcoming audition on Thursday that I'm going to probably be preparing for pretty soon. So that will be coming your way on Thursday, and then I'll continue to talk about Friends some more as well. That will be up tomorrow along with this video. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great week.